Mr. Chairman, thank you, and I join you in expressing my condolences to Will Thompson's family and saddened by his passing. I'd also like to recognize today that it's National Vietnam Veterans Day, and to all of our Vietnam veterans, welcome home. No generation understands the challenges and hardships of toxic exposure better than our Vietnam veterans, and we greatly value your continued service in this area, particularly as Congress continues to respond to this challenge to fix our system on which so many veterans depend. Over the last 30 years, Congress and the VA have relied on the National Academy of Sciences, Engineering, and Medicine to review literature associated with toxic exposure. Within 29 scientific reports, that's what this is, more than 473 conditions have been reviewed, and only 35 conditions have been added to a list of presumed service-connected diseases by VA through the recommendations of the academies. In the 20 years since 9/11, 3.5 million veterans have been potentially exposed to burn pits, but approximately 70% of the burn pit claims have been denied. In the past 2 years, nearly every veteran service organization has testified before this committee and emphasized the importance of fixing the process the VA uses to provide health care and benefits to toxic exposed veterans. In response, I've been working, me and my colleagues have been working with Senator Tester, the chairman, stakeholders and veterans across the country to build a transparent, comprehensive, and enduring solution. Senator Tester and I are working together to create a fair, transparent, and responsive process for toxic exposed veterans, beginning with the Health Care for Burn Pit Veterans Act, which passed unanimously out of the Senate. This was also co-sponsored by every member of this committee. When the President signs this bill into law, and he has asked the House to also pass this legislation, when the President signs this bill into law, sick veterans who are suffering from the effects of toxic substances will be immediately eligible for life-saving health care without any further delay. The House has chosen not to take up that piece of legislation, at least yet, and decided to send us the bill that we are reviewing today, the Pact Act. While the Pact Act includes the critical Health Care for Burn Pit Veterans Act, signaling again broad support for the legislation, it also includes provisions that perhaps will stretch the VA beyond its operational capacity, effectively providing no guarantee that veterans will be able to access the benefits promised. This bill needs to be amended. I think that's generally known and agreed to. I think stakeholders know that. I think Secretary McDonough has said as much in his testimony. As we work to improve this legislation to make certain the VA can, and let me point out that this piece of legislation, at least the Senate version of it, has passed this committee unanimously with the agreement that we would take the time to work to make the changes that we believed were necessary. As we work to improve this legislation to make certain the VA can continue to meet the needs of veterans, I again would ask the House to pass the Health Care for Burn Pit Veterans Act so the VA can immediately provide more toxic exposed veterans health care. Last Congress, this committee approved the TEAM Act, which I co-sponsored to provide a lasting presumptive framework. That bill was developed with more than 30 VSOs as a veteran-centric solution. We must draw on that framework and the VSO's collaborative commitment to get the policy right to improve the bill before us today. The VA developed a pilot program last year to evaluate and implement presumptions for service connections, resulting in the establishment of several presumptions for respiratory ailments. However, the VA has yet to provide this committee with its methodology from this pilot that has led to 12 new presumptions. I look forward to examining in depth this program today to help inform this committee on how to create a law that will withstand the test of time while mitigating disruptions in the VA's work for caring for all of our veterans. Whether the statutory or regulatory reform must establish a threshold for scientific evidence, and the decision-making process must be transparent for all who are involved in the care of veterans. For decades, the VA has relied upon a partnership with the National Academy of Sciences, Engineering, and Medicine to help make determinations within the presumptive decision-making process. As a trusted source of scientific evidence, the academies were charged with reviewing and describing how presumptions have been made in the past and making recommendations for an improved scientific framework that could be used in the future for determining if a presumption should be made. I requested that the academies submit for the record their 2008 report. It's entitled Improving the Presumptive Decision-Making Process for Veterans, so this committee can utilize those recommendations while addressing this legislation. As part of our discussion, Secretary McDonough, I look forward to hearing how the VA has utilized and built upon the NASM recommendations. I look forward to today's testimony and exchanges, and as well as our continued partnership with the chairman and with members of this committee, each stakeholder as well, to craft a responsive and enduring system that will work for veterans both today and tomorrow. Mr. Chairman, I thank you, and I yield back.